Firing Nick Sirianni is just about the stupidest thing the Eagles could possibly do. I don't understand how anybody is making that claim and saying that the Eagles should do that if you're watching the football games. If you don't watch the games, then yeah, I can understand. It's just going to blame the coach because you don't know what you're talking about. But if you watch the games, I would love to know what you think firing Nick Sirianni is going to do. What is the problem with the Eagles right now? They've got a laundry list of them. And I don't think firing the head coach is going to help any of them. The same head coach who's 34-17 in his tenure with the Eagles. He's made the playoffs all 3 years, and he made the Super Bowl last year. I don't understand what you think is going to happen, well, how you could possibly get an upgrade from Sirianni. And why are we giving him such a short leash? They made the same mistake with Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl. So, to the people who think Nick Sirianni should be fired, you're definitely the same people who thought Doug Peterson should have been fired. And what do we have now? You wanted Peterson fired, and now we have Sirianni, who you view as evil. So if the Eagles never fired Doug Peterson, we wouldn't have this issue right now, where you think Nick Sirianni is the worst coach to ever exist. I just don't understand the thought process there. It's just you're using him as the scapegoat. Why? Before it was Sean Desai's fault, then Sean Desai got relegated to the booth, and now all of a sudden we stop blaming him. Nobody blames Matt Patricia, which I don't do either. I don't think it's the coach's fault. I think Sirianni could be doing better. I think Brian Johnson could be doing better, and whoever is running the show on defense could be doing better, but the players could also be doing better. It's absolutely disgusting to me that Dallas Goedert pretty much said the Eagles packed it in after they clinched the playoffs. He had a quote where he said that the Eagles, pretty much all the players saw that they were going to make the playoffs, and they said, we're going to stop trying. What is that? It's a shame because nobody in the media will actually ask Nick Sirianni a question like this. And like I said, I support Sirianni, but he's not doing his best right now. The team is not doing their best. But it's a shame nobody will actually ask the hard questions. But you should ask them, do you feel as though your team packed it in once you guys clinched the playoffs? And of course he's going to say no. And then you say, well, your tight end said you did. And after that, do you feel as though you owe the city and everybody who covers this team, every fan of this team, an apology? Because they spent money on this team and they planned their weeks around this team, and they care about this team more than anyone ever could. And you didn't even try. So I think it's really telling when the player says, there's a player telling you that the players were not giving it their all. And it was very obvious. Again, if you watch any of the games, it's very obvious they're not trying very hard. I don't know what the players are thinking, but they're clearly part of the problem. I'm not saying Sirianni is blameless here, but I don't think it's smart to fire him. He deserves a longer leash when he's 34-17. I'll repeat it again. 34-17 in 3 years with 3 playoff appearances and a Super Bowl appearance. A Super Bowl appearance, they only lost that game because of a pass interference call. I think they are not in a good position right now. But to turn on Sirianni is emotional and flat out stupid. I don't know what you think you're going to get. Why do you think Doug was fired? Because he wasn't going to lay down and do what Lurie and Howie Roseman told him. He wasn't a puppet. That's what Sirianni is. I like Sirianni a lot, but that's what he is. He's doing exactly what he's told. So that tells me they're actually going to keep him around because he's doing exactly what he's told. But if you get rid of Sirianni, who are you replacing him with? You're going to have to replace him with a similar guy. Who is Sirianni? Prior to becoming the Eagles head coach, he was an unknown offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Perfect puppet candidate. Doug Peterson came in here and he wanted to make decisions as a head coach should, and they got sick of that, so they gave him the boot. You're not going to find another Doug Peterson. You're going to find another Nick Sirianni, and the same way these people, these fans who want Sirianni gone right now, they ran Andy Reid out of the city, and then Andy Reid won 2 Super Bowls. They ran Chip Kelly out of the city, which was the right decision, but they did do that. They turned on him. They ran Doug Peterson out of the city, and now look where we're at. Running Nick Sirianni out of the city after he got us to the Super Bowl. Why does he have such a short leash? I don't understand it. Why do people turn on him all of a sudden? I don't understand it. I don't know what you think you're going to find. If you think the offense and defense were in flux this year because they brought in new coordinators, since they lost Steichen and Gannon, there's no doubt about it. Things changed when you lost both of them and had to bring in Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. But now you want to completely change the coaching staff next year. Yeah, that'll give you a good season. Good call by you. Again, I'll say it for the 1,000th time. 34-17 with 3 playoff appearances in 3 years and a Super Bowl appearance. Turning on Nick Sirianni is emotional and flat out stupid, and I don't know what you think that's going to do.